morning. My name is Karen, but to my readers, I'm known as KG Croston. I am thrilled to be here as part of the library celebration honoring Women's History Month. I retired from Walt Disney World in 2017, and my writing career was born shortly thereafter. Originally, I thought I would write mysteries for young adults. After publishing 4 KG mysteries, I discovered my reading audience was mainly women, and that is when I ventured into my first Winter Sisters mystery, Kidnapped, followed by Unforeseen. Now to tell you a little bit about Kidnapped. It's a 2-part mystery that takes place in Bedford Falls, Massachusetts. Caitlin Winters is a mystery author, and her younger sister, Abby, lives and works in the same town. They are complete opposites, and Abby has a tendency to get her sister involved in things that Caitlin would rather not. Part 1 of the book opens with Caitlin trying to come up with an idea for her next book, and she decides to go for a walk with her dog Biscuit. She notices a woman outside Haverford Manor, a home built in the 1940s by Isaac Haverford for his wife Hannah, which was one of the finest homes in town. The 2 women introduce themselves, and Caitlin learns that the woman's name is Victoria Haverford, and her husband is related to Hannah and Isaac. Shortly after ending their conversation, Caitlin runs into Mr. Carter, the postman. I'd like to read their conversation. "How are you doing today, Caitlin?" "Oh, I'm fine. I just met our new neighbor, Victoria, whose family is moving into Haverford Manor." "Yes, I heard that Adam and his family were moving in." "I hope they know what they're getting into." "What do you mean?" "It's probably nothing. You know how people like to speculate and make up stories about murder mysteries." I was intrigued. Was there supposedly a murder in the house? "Caitlin, I don't like to spread rumors, but the story is a group of people wanted to hold a murder mystery dinner at the manor." Isaac and Hannah agreed, and at the end of the meeting, a real murder had occurred. "Wow, that is some story. I wonder if it's true." "That's all I know, but like I said, it's probably just hearsay. Enjoy your walk." After arriving back at her house, Caitlin heated up some leftover chicken noodle soup. She went to sit down at her computer and see what she could find out about the Haverfords. Mr. Carter piqued her curiosity, and she knew she had to think about her book topic for her editor, who had been calling, which seemed like every day. She decided to see what she could find on the internet about the manor. About 2 years after Hannah and Isaac moved into Haverford Manor, a group of mystery sleuths approached Isaac. He was outside just returning from a ride around the manor. "How do you do, sir? We are a group of folks who enjoy a good mystery and are looking for a place to hold a murder mystery dinner." "Oh, I'm not sure I can help you," Isaac replied. He didn't know what these folks were looking for. "Sir, all we need is a place to hold a dinner and a pretend murder mystery. I assure you, you will be paid well if we can hold our event in your dining and living rooms for a couple of hours." Isaac didn't know what to think. The crops weren't coming in as well as he would have liked, and winter was approaching. "Let me talk it over with my wife, and I will get back to you." "Certainly, sir, but we need to hold the event in 4 weeks, and would appreciate it if we could discuss our plans with you and your wife as soon as possible." After dinner, Isaac told Hannah about the request. "Oh, gee, I don't know, Isaac. Do you want strangers coming into our home?" Isaac had to be honest and tell her about the crops. The next day, the group arrived. They introduced themselves and quickly got down to business. The apparent leader of the group, Mr. Finley, explained that they wanted to hold the dinner on Friday the 13th, beginning at 6 o'clock. After the dinner, the murder mystery would take place in the living room. In total, the event should last approximately 5 hours. They would be paid a handsome fee for allowing them to use the manor. After leaving the group, Isaac turned to Hannah and said, "What do you think?" "Well, they sound like a respectable group, and if it helps us with our poor crop yield, I say let's do it." The 13th rolled around, and like clockwork, the servers from Brentwood Caters showed up at the kitchen door. Hannah showed them where the dining room was, while Isaac was down in the basement, storing his latest batch of homemade tonic. He took a sip out of one of the jugs. "I think this is my best brew yet," he thought with a chuckle. Shortly thereafter, the others in the group arrived and took their seats at the large dining room table. Isaac and Hannah took them up on their offer to attend the dinner. After dessert, Hannah and Isaac excused themselves and wanted to rest from a long day. Mr. Finley asked if they could join them in a toast in the living room before retiring for the night. They agreed, and the servers gave everyone a glass of champagne. "Everyone, I would like to thank our hosts, Hannah and Isaac Haverford, for inviting us into their home this evening. You have made our event so special, and we appreciate your kindness and generosity." After everyone drank from their glasses, a shot was heard. Everyone assumed the murder mystery portion of the evening had begun. Or had it? I will leave you with that so you can discover on your own what happens next. When I was first writing Kidnapped, I had the idea for the next section, a murder mystery weekend for Caitlin to attend with her author group. She only knew one of the other authors, as she was a fairly new writer. I added part 1 later to introduce the Winter Sisters to the readers so they would know more about them. In part 2, the sisters arrive at the Winchester estate and are greeted by actors portraying different mystery characters. Caitlin is happy to see her friend Ellen, and Abby is starstruck over the famous mystery authors she's meeting. Caitlin is enjoying the attention she's receiving from the actors, but she began to notice Abby and the others were not receiving the same amount of attention. Caitlin dismissed it, enjoyed the rest of the evening. The next morning, Caitlin wakes Abby up to get ready to meet the others. Abby is busy showering, and Caitlin is already dressed and ready for breakfast when she hears a knock at the door. No one was there, but there was a note. "Do not tell anyone that you received this message. Go directly to the parlor and do not speak to anyone." That's all that was written on the paper. She thought about it and decided to go along with it. She took the note and left. "Maybe I've been chosen to be part of the show," she thought, "and that's why so many strange things have happened to me and no one else." She entered the parlor, and no one was there. She figured she was a little early and decided to pour herself a cup of coffee from the pot that was on the buffet table. She noticed a tray of danishes and helped herself to a blueberry one. As she was enjoying her breakfast, she heard the door lock. She got up, and sure enough, she was locked in. Someone was playing a joke on her, she thought. She knocked on the door, hoping someone would hear her, but no one answered. She called out for help to no avail. Unfortunately, she left her telephone in the princess suite, and since she was following the message's instructions, she didn't tell Abby where she was going. She looked around, and there wasn't a telephone in the room. Someone has to come in here soon. After all, a fresh pot of coffee and danishes were recently set up in the room. She decided to sit down and enjoy another cup of coffee while she waited. Meanwhile, behind the picture frame, a pair of eyes were watching Caitlin's every move. As she made her attempts for help, a smile crossed their face. The parlor was soundproof, and no one would know she's in there. Let's see what Caitlin's thinking. With no contact Outside of the parlor, I decided to get up and knock on the door again. This was getting to be too strange. Why was I lured here and then locked in? If only I had told Abby or taken my cell phone with me. The mystery of the note intrigued me, and I ran out of the room without thinking. Someone has to show up soon. In case they didn't, I started looking around for a way out. As I was walking around the room, I heard a man's voice mumble, "Are you okay, miss?" I was relieved and shouted, "Please, can you unlock the door for me? I think I accidentally got locked inside." "Well, I'm glad you're okay. I'll check on you again later." "No, sir, don't leave me in here. Please open the door." It appeared the man left, and I was locked inside the parlor on purpose. But why, I wondered, as I began to search for a way out. After the man left, the person behind the picture frame became very angry. He had no right speaking to her. The person got up and decided to leave the back passageway and go down to the underground tunnel where the interfering comrade was probably headed. In the underground tunnel, the person who appeared to be in charge was speaking to two men. "What were you two idiots thinking when you put her in the parlor? Everyone will soon be searching the entire estate for her. We can't afford this kind of mistake. And if this gets out..." As far as the rest of the mystery, you will have to find out on your own. So the next book that I wrote following Kidnapped is Unforeseen. It picks up with the Winter sisters and their friends that you've met in Kidnapped. So let's see what the sisters and their friends have been up to. Caitlin receives a call from her friend Ellen. The author group is going on a murder mystery cruise through the Bermuda Triangle for their yearly event. Caitlin tells Abby about it, and they are excited to go. Before they can set sail, Ellen has a freak accident in her home in Kansas City. Afterwards, she began to notice a stalker, or someone mysteriously watching her. Who is it, she wonders? Is it someone she knows, or perhaps someone new in town? One of her author friends arrives to help solve the mystery. Will they be able to catch the person who has been frightening her? In the meantime, another mystery is happening to two of the other authors in New Hampshire, Weldon and Amber. The unlikely pair, who have a history of not getting along, have been working on a mystery together. Let's see what they've been up to. Amber woke up late and had to hurry over to Weldon's. He hated it whenever she didn't arrive on time. Sometimes she felt as though he was her boss instead of her writing colleague. When she knocked on the door, Weldon didn't answer. "Gee, I hope he's not too upset with me," she thought. She knocked again, and still no answer. There was a plate with a half-eaten bagel and a cup of coffee on the table, but no sign of him. He always had coffee ready for them, and sure enough, there was a bagel and container of her favorite cream cheese for her. She thought perhaps he ran inside and would be out soon, so she sat down and started to enjoy her breakfast. He was a grumpy old man, but he did have a soft side. She finished eating, and still no sign of him. She decided to knock on the back door in case he didn't notice she was there. No answer. She left her cell phone in her car and walked over to get it so she could call him. When he didn't answer his house phone, she dialed his cell number. It also went to voicemail, but this time she left a message. She decided to leave, since she didn't know how long he would be gone. She quickly gathered up her things, as it looked like it might start raining any minute, and ran to her car. She would try to call him when she got home. Amber tried to reach Weldon again, but still no answer. She was worried and decided to go back over to check on him. When she arrived, police cars were parked along the street and neighbors were standing outside. "There she is," someone called out. "Yeah, she's the one who did it," another person yelled. Immediately, everyone turned their attention to Amber. She wondered why they were all staring at her, And the next thing she knew, she was being pulled aside by two officers as the coroner's team carried out a body bag. Amber shrieked in horror when she saw it and knew it contained the body of her dear friend. "Ma'am, please state your name." "I'm Amber Jenkins," she managed to stammer out. "We understand you were here earlier today. What can you tell us about your involvement with Weldon Hopper?" She fell to the ground. She couldn't believe her eyes. What happened to him? The two officers each took one of her arms and got her to her feet. "Please tell me what is going on here. Why are you questioning me?" The two officers exchanged glances and knew this wasn't going to be easy. "Ma'am, just answer our questions, please." Shaking, she answered their questions and explained why she was there this morning. "Interesting story. Why did you run off when you left?" "I didn't run off. I noticed it was getting ready to rain, so I may have hurried to my car." "Why are you questioning me as if I'm a murderer?" "It's our job to ask the questions, ma'am. We're letting you go for now, but don't leave town." "This is outrageous. Why aren't you out looking for the real murderer?" She tried to calm down before asking, "What happened to Weldon?" "Ma'am, you'll find out all in due time. Please don't make us any harder than it is." As Amber was leaving, she noticed they were taking things out of Weldon's house. What happened to him? And why did the neighbors accuse her of any wrongdoing? She was clueless as to what was going on. The next morning, two officers appeared at the door. They asked if they could come in. What happened to Weldon? And why did the neighbors think she was involved? Unforeseen will answer all of these questions and more. The two mysteries in this book bring the group closer together. But do they get to go on their mystery cruise? Stay tuned. The third Winter Sister mystery will answer that question. Thank you so much for joining me as we discuss my two latest books, The Winter Sisters Mysteries, and I hope you enjoyed it and will check out the books and email me at kgcroston@gmail.com with any questions. Thank you so much.